Peter and the Rocks by Lawrence Lowery. Peter was a boy who, like most children, collected things. He had been collecting all kinds of things for a long time, but he was beginning to get tired of the same old things. When school ended, there was nothing much to do. He just kicked around, trying to think of something to do. One day, Peter picked up a rock and wiped the dirt from it. At first, the rock looked like any other rock, but the more he wiped, the stranger the rock became. Suddenly, a spot on the rock began to glitter in the sun. Tiny flecks that looked like glass were stuck in the rock. Peter began to wonder if all rocks had hidden surprises. Peter looked for rocks with different colors, shapes, and sizes. Everywhere he went, he found new and unusual rocks. He found them along the roadside, in the fields, and on beaches. The prettiest rocks, he thought, were beside small streams. He would hold the rocks in the water. When the rocks were wet, the colors looked brighter. Peter became more and more curious about rocks. What were they made of? Where did they come from? Why are there so many different kinds? He wondered and kept on adding rocks to his collection. Peter's collection became bigger and bigger, and soon he had rocks all over his room. Peter enjoyed arranging his rocks. He put all the red ones together, all the black together, all the gray together, all the pink together, and all the white together. What a great collection, he thought. Another day, Peter wondered what else his collection could do. He noticed that rocks were different in another way besides color. Some were rough, some were smooth, some were soft, some were hard, some were light, some were shiny, some were dull. So he arranged his collection in a new way. On other days, Peter tried other ways. He put all the rocks from one place together. He put all the rocks of the same size together. Then he put rocks he found on the same day together. Peter enjoyed finding new ways of arranging his rocks. Peter began collecting questions as well as rocks. The questions were about rocks. He asked his mother some questions. He asked his father some questions. He had questions for everyone he met. Finally, his mother sent him to the library. At the library, Peter asked for a book on rocks. He was surprised. There was not only a book on rocks, there were dozens of books on rocks. "Are you going to be a geologist?" a lady at the library asked Peter. Then she told him that geologists are people who study rocks. Peter took one book and one magazine home. "I'm going to be a geologist," Peter said when he walked in the door. Then he told his mother about the lady in the library. He showed what he brought home. Peter and his mother sat down together and studied the book. They looked at the pictures of the rocks. Some of the rocks were just like the rocks Peter had. He was interested in all of them. Peter's mother pointed to one picture. "This rock looks just like the one you have. It's called tuff. Tuff is a soft rock that comes from a volcano," she read. Peter's mother pointed to another picture. "That rock is another one that came from a volcano. It's called basalt." Peter pointed out the next few. His mother read on. "Here is another soft rock, gypsum. It's used to make plaster and paint. This is another black rock. It's called coal. Sometimes people burn coal to warm their houses." On one page in the book was a picture chart on rocks. Peter and his mother read the names: granite, shale, quartz crystals, coal, gypsum, slate, pegmatite, schist. Later, Peter copied down the names of the rocks he had. He learned to say the names and to write them. Soon Peter had even more rocks in his room. Now he was doing more than just looking at them. He was doing even more than arranging them. He was discovering many things about rocks. Maybe, just maybe someday I'll know more about rocks than anyone else in the whole world, Peter thought as he watched a fat ladybug crawl across his desk. Hey, I wonder if bugs are as strange as rocks.